Hi there, this is EA. Here we have an important discussion of the day, Forms of the Verbs, published by EA Spoken English. We teach online. Let's start the talk about the use of the first form of the verb. How to use the first form of the verb? Actually, it's not much difficult. We need some concentration to finish up this lecture. Keep in mind, while we're using the first form, there are 3 or 4 things in our mind: present tense, routine, habit, complaining. It's always been used over here when we're talking about any present, routine, someone routines, habit of someone, or complaining about someone. We can use the first form over future tenses, sometime promising or future happening, like that. Here are the objects of the time. While we use the first form, over here the objects are over here: always, every day, regularly, punctually, every night. These are known as object, and especially when we see such things, we have to use the first form over fill in the blanks. Always, every day, regularly, punctually, every night. Important to know, keep reminding, these are the first form objects. Let's have example sentence. I go to school regularly. You always go there. We always get up early. So get up early, go there, go to school, and just look and over the subject you always. The word always is pretending to be the first form, then followed by always is get, then regularly is followed by a sentence where I go to the school. That is called the first form. You always go there. We always get up early. I go to the school regularly. Here we have the formation of the sentence. Keep in mind, subject, verb, and object. There are 3 things in a sentence: that subject, that means I, we, you, they, he, she, it, and noun. We use directly first form of the verb without any helping verb, and we use daytime place as an object. Okay, what is the daytime place? That is, we use in present tense the subject I, always, every day, punctually, regularly, every day. That means these are been used over the first form sentence. Keep in mind, these are the object for the first form of the verb. Sometimes you have question to solve it, you need to fill up the form with the first form, so you look at on the ending or starting or after subject or middle of the sentence. If there are such dictation like always, every day, punctually, regularly, every night, without any problem, just use the first form. Subject, first form, and object. I go there. I is a subject and go is the first form of the verb. There is the object, and it's called in routine when we're talking about I get up early, I go there, I come here, I take tea, I speak the truth. That's all over routine. I get up early in the morning mostly. So telling about routine and your habits of the day is called present indefinite tense, and we're using the first form of the verb. In the other sentence of present tense, we use we fly kites. That is a complaint, or sometimes we're gonna complain he flying kites, he is flying, or he flies kites, he flies kites every time. It's like a complaint. They fly kites at our home. So that's when we gonna complain of over something, we use the first form of the verb. That's been used for the complaint. In the other present tense, we use they run fast. It's also ability or habit. Someone is walking and running and jogging, he's having brisk walk, so it's like habit. We can say, instead of habit, we can say he speaks the truth. He speaks the truth. It's also habit of someone we're talking about. So over here we have helping verb for the first form of the verb. The helping verb of the first form of the verb is do, does, did, may, might, will, shall, would, should, can, could. Keep in mind, over there wherever you're going to have look on the first form sentence, there are such kinds of helping verb: does, do, did, may, might, would, will, shall, should, can, could. And also in the object we can see in daytime place like always, every day, punctually, regularly, every night. They're known as object. Well, if we're gonna use a will and would helping verb, we say he will come. You cannot choose second, third or fourth form while you're using will helping verb directly. He will not come. Shall and should, I shall help, I shall not help you. Do and does, we use he did not meet, he does not meet. Never use any form else beside first form. Only first form is important to use after will, would, shall, should, do, does, did. Can and could can meet us at I could not see, I can do it. May and might can be used over first form. May I help you, I might help you. So we are going to prove that first form is only happens when over here we have helping verbs like do, does, did, may, might, will, would, shall, should, can, could. And also the objects like always, every day, punctually, regularly, every night. That's known as using first form by using their objects and helping verbs. Now let's talk about the use of second form of the verb. Here is also helpful hints for you. The story. This is known as story verb. Actually, whenever you're going to read some stories or the past habits or biography of a person who is not alive now in this era, so we use the second form of the verb. Like in past tense, we use story. There was a farmer. He lived in a village. He had 4 sons. So we're giving a sense that we are reading the story. So we always reading second form of the verb. Like we use it in past tenses, past routine of you, the past habits, the person who had is not alive, biography. So this is known as story verb, the second form of the verb. So most of the object or daytime place is known as yesterday, few days ago, last day, last week, past hour, 2 hours ago, that day. These attract us to use the second form of the verb while we are going to solve the helping verbs, and second form is over there while we see yesterday, few days, last day, past hour, 2 hours ago, that day. Furthermore, we have example sentence for it. He met me yesterday. The problem over here, the met, why we use the second form is there is yesterday as a dictation, that there is a time, or we can say the object time, that is known as yesterday. We use the second form. You went there a few hours ago. That means a few hours ago attacked you, compels you to make the second form of the verb over here. And last week, I saw him there last week. She took tea that day. That day means the day that has already gone. So we're talking about the past tense, that took, saw, went, met, second form of the verb. Never use first form after yesterday, before yesterday, or anywhere in yesterday sentence. Never use first form. Only it depends on the situation. If there is did, then you can use the first form. But if there is yesterday and the subject, verb, object and yesterday, never use first form, third form, fourth form. Only use second form over here. Keep in mind, yesterday, few days ago, last week, past hour, 2 hours ago are the objective or second form. Second form is known as story. Mostly stories have second form. You can look upon the essay, biography, the past habits, the past routine. The past tense is using second form of the verb. Second form of the verb have formation of the sentence like the subject, I, we, you, they, he, she, it, nam, all over used with the second form. Daytime place, keep in mind yesterday, few days ago, that is been used by the second form. I already told you yesterday, few days, that day, 2 hours, past hour are none. We use second form over here. Subject I, verb went there. Yesterday, the yesterday is urging me to use the second form. We flew kite. So yesterday and few days ago we use second form. We flew kites. Last day is asking us to use the second form. They ran fast that day. So that means we're talking about a special moment that has been already past. He speaks the truth. That is known as habit. And I'm using the first form because it's habit. We use first form. Just to exemplify, I'm gonna compare over here the last sentence. He speaks the truth. That means it's present tense because we're gonna talk about habit of the present. But if we talk about a person who is already died, we will use he spoke the truth. He used to speak the truth. So there was a story tense, sentence or tense for the second form we're talking about. Now let's move over here in the use of the third form. Third form of the verb is very easier. It's almost giving the sense of something is perfectly done or gone through, we have done. Here the helping verb for this verb is in the present, past and future. It has been used in three tenses. Rather than we're talking about present, we use have, has, had. If we're talking about past, we use had. If we're talking about future tense, we use will have, shall have, should have, would have. So there are different situations for using this third form, but helping verb is very important to know. For the future present tense we use have, has. For the past tense we use had. For the future tense we use will have, shall have, should have, would have. So I have met you, that means have met you, the task has been done. Had you got him, had you got him, that means had you got him is been the job of meeting or getting is done. Had you got him, I already have seen it. With the already we use the third form, and using have is very important. Why had you cried? Where have she gone? I had done work, you have taken tea. She has washed it already. The underlined verbs are the third form. The reason is every verb is being used third form after we use have, has, had. Will have, would have, should have is been followed by third form. Now let's talk about the fourth form of the verb, that is known as continuous. If we listen such verb, that means the task is still continuous running on. Present tense, past tense and future tense. For the present tense we use ismr was verb. For the past tense have been, has been, had been is also we use for the continuous past tense. For the future tense we use will be, shall be, would be, should be, will have been, shall have been, and has been, have been, can be, could be is all we use the fourth form by after these helping verbs. Let's have some example sentence for this. He is going to school. We have been traveling for 2 hours. So that's all for now, the introduction for the using fourth form. In the next lecture we have individually using of forms, first form, second form, third form. Thank you for being with EA. Keep liking and sharing and following us.